And welcome to my kitchen. We've got two things we're going to do today. We're going to talk about the New Year's vegan bundle, which I'm super excited about, and I happen to have a class in that comes along with it. So I know I sold a bundle with No Meat Athlete for Black Friday, but that is not the one that I'm talking about today. So this is a totally different thing. So earlier last year, I sold a vegan bundle from Amy Katz that's $14.99, and this one is also $14.99. So this is the super affordable one. Hey guys, I see everybody coming in. I'm just kind of chatting along till you guys make it. So today, again, I'm just going to reiterate. We're going to do two things. One, we're going to make onion cream, which is magical, and it's perfect for the beginning of your year. Hey Helen, it's so awesome to see you here, and I have my volume all the way up, which is why you heard the big beep. So apologies for that. And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the vegan bundle. So one of the reasons I picked the onion cream is it's in the plant-based staples class that's included in the bundle. You can also get the recipe in vegan cooking in your air fryer. It's super easy and it's really versatile. So hi Ashley, it's good to see you. And it's good to see everyone else who's not saying hi, but I'd love to know how you're doing. How does 2021 feel? Is it fitting right yet? Or are you still getting used to it? Like a pair of new shoes? And I don't know if you can tell, like, it is not the middle of the night here. It's actually 3 o'clock. And if you look back there, it looks like it does around when it's about to get dark. So it's been a very calming, gloomy kind of day. I like gloomy days though. Apple, yay. Oh, Apple's made my onion cream and said it blew their mind. And what's funny is it is kind of crazy and it's so simple and it's so easy. And then I know a lot of people either A, are looking to eat a little healthier, like January 1st, and it's those of you who watched New Year's Day with my extended potted family, Howard Jacobson and Mia, know, that we were talking a lot about behaviors and the way that we think, and that this being kind of the social construct of a beginning. So a lot of us, even if you don't do resolutions, are like, okay, that would maybe be me. Perhaps I've not eaten my best the past couple of months, and perhaps now is a good time to go, what are some easy ways that are still tasty that I can make things a little healthier, right? That's like a win-win. So why wouldn't you do that, correct? And let me say, hey Marilyn and Aunt B. Just being from North Carolina and watching Mayberry when I grew up, maybe that's what I really mean. Because so far I don't feel all the way grown up. But Aunt B makes me think of Mayberry. And hi from Michigan. Hey, back at ya. And Jessica's here. And she set the reminder. She's in the kitchen cooking now. Well, just because it takes a while to cook this, I will tell you the process. I did cook the onions ahead of time. And while the recipe is an air fryer recipe, you can make it in the oven too. And in fact, you could make this in your Instant Pot or on your stovetop or in your oven. It's a lot like bouillon. There are limitless ways to make this. So I did do it 2 different ways, and I'm going to show you and talk about that a little bit. It takes about 45 minutes at least to cook the whole onion to get it ready. Now you could do different things. You could cut it up some. One of the reasons I'm kind of roasting or air frying it is to really develop those sugars and get that sweet taste. But it's not even like it tastes like candy or something like that, but you know how onion has that bite? This basically cooks almost all the bite out. It's so much so that I can make a sauce with it and Cheryl doesn't know I've made it with onions. And that's pretty major. So it's a little different than just kind of roasted onion. And then we can add some different things in it. And we may even make kind of a cheesy sauce. Onion. Emily, awesome. Emily from the library. I love that. It's very nice to see you and sounds intriguing, and I like that. I like spy words that have to do with foods. It makes me feel, I don't know, a little less sweatshirty. Yeah, I'm the cool kid. It's intriguing. Hi, Stephanie and Joanne. And Joanne says for 2021, I might be expecting way too much. I know our expectations are really high. And, I kind of feel like if nothing gets worse, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy. Just as far as with my outward expectations from the world. My inward expectations, I'm still personally wrestling with as far as, this is the first time it's been very hard for me to get my word for the year or phrase for the year, like really situated. It's very interesting. And hey, Monique from Michigan, welcome. And Luann and Elizabeth Bales popped in. I know we talked about making something with sweet potatoes over on the Sick to Fit Facebook group. And hi, Nellie from Arizona. We got people from all over. So let me show you. So I'm going to show you some of this first. Let me see if I can get it to, there we go. So this is how, and this I'll show you too. You guys probably saw it in the picture. This is what our end result will look like. There we go. It's a little bit better. And that looks like a crazy thing. And that's what this is. Okay, so it's cool enough. So this one I actually did in a small capsule kind of air fryer. And it's kind of smushy. And you see there's juices. And then it's still pretty hot. I didn't put a piece of paper there just so I wanted to show you what's going to happen, and I'm going to soak it for a couple of days probably. And now, so in the original recipe, I just throw it in with skin and all, and that just kind of protects it from burning. I also did one in the Breville, which is here in this little Cuisinart, not Cuisinart, Le Creuset. All C words are not the same, brain. See if I can work with that. Okay, and so I'll show you this one too. So now I did take the skin off of this one and the ends off. And you guys can see it's kind of got some brown liquid, and that's okay. We don't need to worry about that. And that it's really, ooh, I wasn't expecting that. It's really juicy and it's really squishy. And so that little tough skin, that's just the not really skin, it's the outer layer of the onion. So I wanted to do this one so that I didn't know if this was going to cool off fast enough, because honestly we just took a walk and it wasn't that cold outside. So when you do it with the skin and everything, you have to let it cool all the way before you start pulling on things. Just the same way as if we make pumpkin puree with a pie pumpkin, either in the Instant Pot or the slow cooker, it has to cool so we can kind of scoop everything out and we can be safe. Because even with pot holders and things like that, juice is going to squirt at you, different things like that. So, and I never really made it this way. So it was easy peasy. Okay, so in the stuff that is somewhere, depending on where you're watching, Facebook or YouTube or rewatching, I've got links to like a little cast iron thing like this, something close. I really love this. I got this at a little thrift store, of course, and I think it's about a quart and a half. And the one I linked to was the only one I could find on Amazon, and it was a quart and a half, and it was not as much as a Le Creuset. So I thought you would appreciate that too. I do enjoy kind of cooking things in here. You can throw some parchment paper in on any of this stuff. And so you could put if I did parchment paper on here and I had it in the air fryer and this is touching the air fryer, I'm going to want to not have any extraneous stuff like this up. I'm going to cut all that off, because if it gets too close to the heat source, it could burn or catch fire or something. So you would want to just make a little part down at the bottom. Or like I'm going to do, just put some hot water and some soap and just let it sit for a day or so, and it'll loosen all that stuff up. You might just need to scrub it a couple of times. Okay, let's see. We've got more people. Tanda and Gina, yay! Gina's my other YouTube gal, and awesome. And Elizabeth says that's why I don't wear fancy clothes when I cook. I know. Who needs to wear fancy clothes when they cook? This is my fancy sweatshirt, though. This is my dress sweatshirt. And I even have jeans on and not sweatpants. Starting the new year off a little, you know, dressed up. I've got regular tennis shoes on too. All the other things you don't really want to know, but I'll tell you anyhow. And Elizabeth says, if I found an air fryer that doesn't smell, I'm hypersensitive and mine leaves an odor afterwards. Are you talking about, Elizabeth, the plastic of it? Because if that's the case, if you're sensitive to plastic off-gassing, the Breville that's over here, it is expensive. I think the Breville is still like $500, but take a deep breath. There's like some other, there used to be a Cuisinart one. I've heard the Cuisinart one is not around anymore, but there, if you go on Amazon, basically in China, the manufacturers make one kind and they get labeled 80 different ways. So you can go and look for one that's like a small toaster oven or air fryer that has stainless steel or metal inside, and you are going to get less, there's nothing to off gas really. So I do find that if you do have something, so I have the Instant Pot Vortex, which is what I cook this in, which is the one that's kind of an egg shape, and I should probably just bring it over. I'm like, let's not pretend. Let me just show you. I have it sitting on the other side because it was blocking the camera. But so this is the one I cook this in. So there is a lot of plastic in here, but there's some metal too, usually in most of the thing. But as plastic heats, it is going to off-gas some. So you could do a couple of things. If you're incredibly sensitive to it, you could put it outside and run it for a little while and let all the off-gassing happen. In the varieties I've had, I didn't have a lot of off-gassing with the Go-Wise, and usually you can get a Go-Wise 5.8 over on Amazon pretty inexpensively. And if you guys have model questions, put them in the comments and I'll come back and try and lead you to one, because that'll be a little more helpful. I don't know why I did not anticipate the air fryer conversation, so usually I have a link to a page where I have all this. But I don't have that right now. And Jessie says, onion cream sounds really interesting. So we've got interesting, intriguing. I'm going to have to make another thumbnail. So with all this fun stuff. And Elizabeth says, hers is ceramic with stainless steel insert. So that sounds, so are you talking about food smells or then? Because there could be food smells that keep going, just like in an oven. Because even in a slow cooker and an Instant Pot, as long as you let the pressure out, you're still going to have those smells in the house. And there's Jessie, and Elizabeth has a Yeti, and I don't know that one, but I'll look it up. Gina says the flowers are beautiful. Thank you. And I think there were some people who wanted to see the Christmas cactus blooming. Some of them are starting to fade a little bit, but I tried to put the new ones up here. And I actually got these thinking they weren't going to bloom for a long time, the paper whites. And they were just sitting in a corner like where nobody was watching, blooming. So I was like, let's bring these guys up. We need a little, spring is coming. It really is going to be here. For those of you who love winter, I am not trying to rush you. I promise. Okay. All right, and Helene just got the bundle. Excellent. And actually, let me show you just real quick. Oh, and Amelia loves the vegan cooking in your air fryer. So, and these links over here, I do have a link that's an affiliate link to buy the vegan bundle. And I'm going to talk about it for just a second or two, since I'm already getting a couple of questions. You can get a signed copy of this cookbook if you go to virtualvegfest.com, and the link is in the description for all of this. And because we still have some of these. So I can sign it and send it to you. Cheryl will pack it up for you even. You'll even know the whole process as it goes along. Okay, great. So let me just show you, and let me actually switch cameras. Come back here again. I'll come here where I can see you while I'm doing this. There we go. I know the lighting's off, so I apologize for that. But so Amy's been very smart about this, and she's done a couple of things differently. I know some people had trouble getting their purchases, so she's laid it out so nicely in step-by-steps. But basically what you get is this document, and you just click on the download. And you might have to enter your email address. This is after you purchase the $14.99 bundle. And this is the stuff that's in it. We're going to look at a few things after we make the onion cream. But it's got these cookbooks. Healthier Steps is Michelle. I love her. I love everybody in the bundle, though. And we'll look at, so you guys can see what's really in there. There's a meal planning blueprint. This contains different things than the bundle you bought, the $14.99 bundle you saw last year. And I have a different class in it. And so there's like 100 entrees. And so these are pretty good. Vegan nutrition, meal system support, all kinds of cool things. A weight loss mindset shift, plant-based made easy. This is my friend Mary Ellen, has a healthy habits planner. We're going to look at that in the smoothie book today. And Amy's how to start a vegan Mediterranean diet. And there's my little class, and we'll look at that too. Actually, I can show you just real quick about that, because you know that's a video. It's like 3 hours long. You will have access to it for as long as you want, and you can watch it over and over again. But what we're making is we're making plant-based yogurt. So we make it with a soy. You can make it with like Ripple or a pea protein milk. We make oat milk, and then we make nut milk. We make corn butter. We make a nut ricotta. We make a cauliflower ricotta. So you get recipes for all these things. I don't think I make the cauliflower ricotta in the videos, but I do give you a recipe. Cashew and oat cream and tofu sour cream. So that's a lot of plant-based dairy substitutes. And like I said, that alone is worth $35. And so Amy's bundle is always a really great value. And again, we'll look at some of those other things. Come on, I'm trying to move. There we go. Move my window. And yeah, and Apple's like 40 days of green smoothies. Heck yeah. No, actually, yes, please. Love green smoothies. Yeah, and it's the time of year to kind of, I talked about New Year's Day, like I want to get a lot of greens in me. And plus, I think it's, you know, there's no negatives. I think the only negative if you ate like your weight in spinach every day, or well, probably if you ate your weight in anything, 200 pounds or 100 pounds or 80 pounds, whatever pounds you might be, is going to be too much of probably anything. But I think making sure you get these rainbow colors in, and don't forget white as in onion and cauliflower, those count in your rainbow too. Hi Sophie, how are you? Okay, awesome. Okay, and Joanne's talking about some kefir, so let's talk about this. So in the recipe itself, and I've got some water because no matter what my recipe says, we might need some water to make it blend. So this, we're doing a large onion, and the caveat is not so large it won't fit in the air fryer that you have, right? Because if you have a small like Dash sandwich size air fryer, you're gonna have less room. And if I'm doing the Breville, I could probably do the biggest onion that's ever been grown. I'm thinking I could probably do a 5-pound onion in there. It would probably take a whole day to cook, but that's okay. And so we're going to go ahead, and I want to cut this a little bit. So let me get a knife. Just get this guy. And we're going to plonk the chunks into the blender. Now, typically, I go ahead and add some salt in there. But remember, and I've been saying this over and over and over again, is we can make our own plain salt-free seasoning by doing like a tablespoon of onion powder, a tablespoon of garlic powder, and probably about a teaspoon of ground celery seeds. I'm going to go ahead, even though this isn't hot, this will just be nicer for me to pick up with tongs. And if you have, like, if there's a part that's a little too dark, we can just take that guy off. I'm going to sit him over here and cut that off. Because we don't want to add the burnt taste, although maybe we do. Actually, that can make it a little smoky. And you guys know how I feel about smoky flavors. Let's try it. I've got 2 onions. That liquid is so sweet, and it does not taste burned. And I'm going to go ahead, if I can. I probably should have done this ahead of time, because now I have a slit in some of that paper. And I'm going to use that good, flavorful juice. And then I'm going to just kind of come back up here because I don't know that you're seeing anything exciting from the top about this. And you could do a whole bunch of this. I'm sure it would work in the freezer. This may or may not be enough liquid. Let's find out, shall we? Plenty. Now I tried something different, and that's why the color's different. Okay, and I knew the color was going to be different, and I'm okay with that. So if you're really wanting it to look like cream, let's see how cool this is. It's pretty cold. And actually, so we can go ahead and take a look at this too. So when you do it this way, really all of that burny stuff, that dark stuff, you see it's a little bit warm, so I'm going to rinse my hand really quick. Might be a little warm for some people to touch it. Remember, I have unnaturally ready for the heat hands from doing all the cooking I do. And so this one is going to produce a whiter version instead of this was more of a darker version. But I don't see this as being bad. I see this as being different. And I was thinking of maybe making kind of a smoky cheese sauce. And when you taste this right now, so it does have a very subtle onion smell to it. And honestly, to me, when you roast it like this, the flavor goes, you get a little bit of sweet and a little bit of a base flavor. You don't get all that onion. And so there is a recipe out and about for my Chef AJ's whole food plant-based, no oil, no soy, no beans, no nuts ranch dressing, and I use a roasted onion. And if you get that recipe, and if you guys want that recipe, we can make that sometime this week too. Excuse me. I was about to have a coughing fit. One of the things that surprises people is we put in onion powder. Because you're like, but there's all onion. but it's not the bite that's the bite from the onion powder. We've cooked all that out. We've mellowed it out. It's like it's got its little sunglasses on. It's chilling on the beach, this onion. Oh, thanks, Marilyn says the plant-based dairy class is awesome, and it's worth much more than the cost of the bundle. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I know a lot of you have already gone through that. And it's just, I really like, especially when we're trying to get healthier and do some things like this, like you think, okay, so I'm going to go, some people are just going from standard American diet to being vegan. Some people are going from vegan to eating a little healthier, closer to plant-based, right? Some plant-based people are just like, I'm going to eat cleaner for a little while, whatever that means to you. Sometimes I was talking to a woman yesterday, actually, who's just starting. She doesn't know where to start at all. And so she's coming straight from the standard American diet. And I'm like, you know what? An easy thing to do right now to start transitioning for her is to maybe try some Beyond Meat. She can still keep her life going and just start a little bit. Something that's obtainable. When you're farther along, like Cheryl, after being plant-based for about a year, now she eats stuff like that very rarely. Whereas when she started out, being able to have it once or twice a week enabled her to stop eating meat. So we're all in different places. And so I want to come to you wherever you are. But wherever you are, so if you're just starting to eat vegan too, and you go to the grocery store and you're like, okay, great, I can get vegan sour cream, and I can get vegan ricotta, and I can get all these things. Well, vegan ricotta at the store is $10. That's a lot of monies, right? And if you're oil-free already, it's probably going to have oil in it. So having something like so simple, because onions are not that expensive, that you can cook, and it's hands-off time. So you could even go, theoretically, get a bag of onions, cook them even in your oven, right? And just do this and puree it and have it ready to go. Have it maybe like 1.5 to 2 cups. You can just have it plain, and just know if you leave some of the smoky parts, which I like, you're going to get a dark version instead of the white cream version. And you have to decide, does that matter or not? Like, one of the things that I'm going to also talk about is, so in the same book, I have a recipe for baked mac and cheese. You guys can kind of see that. Well, the sauce is made with this, right? So you can take this as a base to go forward in other things. We could put this with our tomato sauce to make a vodka sauce. We can do all kinds of things. But remember, again, mine is brown, and probably we'll go ahead and make another one really quick too. And Apple uses onion cream anywhere. Bechamel is traditionally used. That's an awesome thing to do because it's already thickened. That's a great way. It's lasagna, scalloped potatoes. I was thinking scalloped potatoes earlier when I was doing this, because I know some of you that are on Chef AJ's program don't do any flour. So like the idea of mac and cheese is not going to work for you. But you could totally use potatoes or put it on steamed broccoli, cauliflower, a little frozen California mix, and then a nice cheesy sauce on top of that. You might even get the kids to eat it. Could be crazy. Oh, great. And Jesse thinks that the potato is in for the potatoes too. Awesome, you guys. Alrighty. So normally, like I said, I would put a little salt in here. And I feel like, in a way, I need to rinse this out and show this with the regular, not darker cream. So let me do that, because I feel like I'm going to explain it 80,000 bazillion times, and then still someone's going to come on right now and go, why are you making applesauce? Because it does look like applesauce. And you know, if you get a real sweet craving, if you get sugar cravings, I don't know about you, but I do, that sometimes even a whole baked onion can kind of take care of some of that sweet craving. It's very interesting. And if somebody just got this out of the fridge and ate it, They might think it's like weird applesauce. Okay, I'm going to rinse this. Then we're going to put our other onion in there. Though I keep thinking of uses for this darker one. So I'm kind of excited for it. I think I didn't do this last time because I was trying to make it look, you know, just like the substitute everybody wants. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. I'm going to need to cut this up a little bit. I always feel like if I don't demonstrate to you guys, it just seems like I could be lying to you. Those of you who stick around a lot, you know I don't lie to you. But what if somebody new is here and they're like, I don't believe that lady. And this onion is not a large onion. It is more of a small medium-ish. Now we don't have any liquid in here now. So let's see how this works. I've got, again, some water to the side. Yeah, we're going to need some water. Part of the reason we're going to need some water is that it's so small. I'm glad I brought this one over. And Joanne says she heard about onion cream from Susan Boysen, a fat-free vegan. And I don't know that I found out about it from her. I know someone was asking me about a substitute. I think it probably came from me making that dressing for Chef AJ, is how I came to find out about it. But so, see how that's significantly more of the color you're kind of looking for? Okay. Now, when I make the mac and cheese, one of the things that I do, that one tastes really good too. So it definitely doesn't taste as smoky. Is I usually put some salt and then I put some cashews into the mix to kind of soak it. I don't have any soaked cashews. We could also use some oats, though I don't know if I have any oats. Yes, I do. So we could put a little bit, maybe a tablespoon of oats in there for the amount that's there. And we'll put a little bit of water in there. And so what we're doing is kind of making oat cream with that. So I'm going to try just like between a tablespoon and 2 tablespoons. I'm going to go ahead and make this for mac and cheese. So I'm doing that. I'm going to go ahead and add, since this is not a cup of savory cream, I think this is closer to 3/4 of a cup. I'm going to put about 3 teaspoons of nutritional yeast. That's going to give it a cheesy flavor. Now, if you can't have nutritional yeast, you can leave it out and you could add another umami flavor and kind of make it into something else like dried mushrooms. And at that point, I would not use the same amount for nutritional yeast. I would start with maybe a 1/2 teaspoon to a teaspoon of tomato powder, mushroom powder, something like that. You could put some miso in there. That would be another thing that could give it like a really yummy sort of flavor. So you're not off or out of the mac and cheese thing if you can't have the nutritional yeast. We're just going to change what you're going to make a little bit. That's all. Hi, Diane, and Happy New Year to you. Onion cream. Yeah, and it's just a roasted onion, and typically I roast it with the skin and everything on there. I just cut off the ends that are going to get too crumbly. Again, for some of you who are just coming in, this is what we took out, is in here. This is the part. So you have to let it cool before you can take all the goody stuff out. Okay, great. So we got some nutritional yeast. I'm going to put some garlic powder. I'm still going to go ahead and keep with the 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. This recipe I don't think is out and about, but I'm going to see about getting it up on the blog if I can get ahead of the game. We're going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika. If you don't like smoke, you can use regular paprika. So you know I'm going to use the smoke. And then we're going to do about a 1/4 teaspoon of mustard powder. And if you don't have dry mustard powder, you can totally use like a little squirt of like yellow mustard or stone ground mustard, whatever you happen to have. That mustardy stuff just kind of gives it a little bit more of a cheesy taste and a little sharpness to it. And if you wanted to, in the recipe, I don't add any onion powder, but you could if you wanted to. I think I'm going to go ahead and add like 1/8 teaspoon of onion powder, just a wee bit. I am not going to put any salt. Usually I put about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then I put some black pepper, about a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. So I'm going to do whatever 3/4 of that is. If somebody wants to do the math for me, that sounds awesome. So I'll let you see that from the top. It's just this onion cream with some spices. And so someone said, late to the party, the recipe is from Vegan Cooking in Your Air Fryer. And I'll see if I cannot, I kind of have a few time-sensitive things that are all happening at the same time, so I hope I can get this recipe up for you guys. Okay. And you don't have to use this for mac and cheese. You can put it on vegetables or anything. So I'm just going to blend this up again. I think we can look at that now. And like I said, this is a little shy on this particular onion as far as how much puree it produced. So this is definitely more of a cheddar-y sauce. And you know what else it reminds me of? You could make nacho cheese sauce with this. We could add in some jalapeno powder, some tomato powder, some ancho chili, you know, or chili for the stew powder. Just gonna scrape this down. I think this looks pretty good. I'm going to taste it and let you see it all at the same time. Okay. The onion powder brought back that onion taste to the forefront. I think it could use a little more nutritional yeast. I was kind of holding back, but I'm going to add that extra tablespoon that I left out from the recipe. I think it could use a little more garlic powder if I'm not going to use any salt. And I probably could use just, oh sorry, I should probably let you see this. So this is what I'm doing. I'm just putting some sprinkles of mustard in there just to let it get a little sharper for me. Yeah, and Joanne said she loves onion cream and she could see it as a base for a lot of sauces. Because a lot of times when you are first starting to look at vegan recipes, we see all those sauces are replaced with cashew-based sauces. And this works just as well, and it's cheaper. That's another thing that's not so sad. And I want you to really notice, because remember we put in some oats instead of using the cashews in this one because it was not supposed to be all nut free in my book. Now I want you to have all the options. But see how it made it creamier a little bit? And so whenever we're doing something like this, I do this in soups or other things that we puree, is I'll like cook some cashews or cook some oats or do something like that, like my tomato soup. And basically, it's just, that's it. That's it for sure. I'll let you guys see the pretty color it is. If you wanted yours more yellow and less orange, you could leave out paprika. You could have left out paprika and put in some steamed carrots. That's what I do with the cauliflower queso, and you can get that recipe on plantbasedinstantpot.com. And so the way I do this recipe after this is I mix it with cooked pasta and put breadcrumbs on top, and then put it in the air fryer till it's basically warmed up. Because in the air fryer, I'm not sure I'd really want to go to the point where I'm trying to cook the pasta in there at the same time. I haven't done that like a little lasagna. I do that in the oven all the time. I think you could do it in the Breville. With some of the smaller ovens and the heat, you'd have to kind of futz with your liquid measurements. It's the only thing. Yeah, onions are definitely cheaper than nuts, says Joanne. And I know last year was a little hard financially on a lot of us. So this is, again, it's still hands off, easy to get. So sometimes cashews can be, I try to look at Sprouts. When Sprouts has bulk sales in the past, that's when I'll go and I'll get cashews or things like that. I try to get pieces wherever I can. Trader Joe's is a good place to get inexpensive nuts, and so is the Indian market. Yeah, and you can find onions everywhere. So I think we're going to make some more onion sauces. And in fact, because I haven't got these up yet, but in January for Kathy's Cooking Club and my online cooking classes, I'm going to be doing a casserole class. Maybe this baked mac and cheese will find its way in there, or some kind of veggie casserole with this sauce or a similar sauce. And I'm also going to do a patty. So like veggie burgers, don't be crabby cakes, things like that. We're going to do all that are all patties. And I thought that would be kind of fun too. And Apple says, I'm going to try the onion cream with oatmeal puree to replace coconut milk in my curry. I like that. I like the sound of that. And one of the things I've noticed, people who can't use coconut milk, sometimes it does help to put a little bit of coconut extract to get the coconut flavor. Or you could add a little handful of coconut in there while you're pureeing everything, so you still get that lovely flavor. Or not, it is your choice. And hi back to you in Ohio. Is the onion basically the vehicle for more flavor? I'm guessing the flavors you add may augment the onion flavor. I pureed, then sauteed onions for sauerkraut the other day, and my onion was definitely not ripe, kind of green under the skin. Probably should have picked out another onion to use. After you roast this onion, it removes almost all that onion flavor. So it's a lot like really cooking down onions into onion marmalade, only not exactly. So for those of you who weren't here earlier, I did another onion whole, and this is just the onion, and I put the dark juice that leaked out because I had taken off the skin and all of that because I didn't know if it would be cool enough for me to use, because when you cook the onion with the skin, you have to let it cool. And it actually has this lovely smoky flavor. But either way, once you cook an onion like that, most of the onion flavor goes away. And what's there is so mellow, and the sweetness goes way up. And so that's why I was saying, I probably would look in here if I didn't label this and think this was applesauce at some time and go, that applesauce has gone bad. But I wouldn't be like, ooh, that onion puree is weird. So it doesn't have that same onion flavor. So we use the onion cream, And the way we do it with just a little bit of salt or salt substitute, that you could go and take it and put it in any recipe. So like Apple was saying, they use it where they use bechamel. I've used it like for where sour cream is called for, or where I want a thick, creamier sauce, in ranch dressings, things like that. And Janet says, that onion sauce looks delicious. Thank you. I am looking forward to my dinner now. And Jessica says, that casserole class sounds great. Low fat too. There will be no oil added. I haven't decided which casseroles I'm doing. But let's say even if I did a Mexican casserole and there were avocados and vegan cheese as an option, they would be as options. So I always make the classes so that someone who's following Chef AJ's diet has options to fit for them. So the base recipe could have some fat in it, but it will be no oil added. So there could be some nuts involved in some of them that you will have an option to not use them, or avocado, and you would have an option not to use them, if that makes sense. And Heather said, this is great and quite a revelation of a sauce. Never thought of doing this with an onion. I know, and it's so easy. Easy and cheap and healthy. Yeah, I'm there for sure. And I probably should try some more oatmeal cream. And someone says, yes, please, Mexican casserole. I know, I need to sit down and write down what I'm going to do, because I was doing this and I was like, ooh, maybe we need to do like a scalloped potato or something like that for sure. And Quart loves the options. Me too, because it's really important to me to be inclusive. And so again, if you're watching because you just want to learn how to make something healthy for one day a week, I'm your gal. You want to be healthy every day? I'm your gal, right? I'm going to help you where you are. And I think it's so important that recipes be inclusive and have options for allergies and things that we are either voluntarily or not voluntarily restricting from our diet. Like, I'm vegan by choice, gluten-free by doctor orders, right? So it's not a fun thing for me. And for most of the people aren't just choosing it because, oh, I'd rather never eat all the lovely vegan options that I see in restaurants, because most of them have gluten in them. It makes me very, very sad. Oh, great, plan on enjoying the class. I'll try and get those together really, really soon. Ooh, someone says roasted onions with mushroom powder and thyme and marjoram sounds like a good gravy base. Yes, it does. And that is Jessie. Jessie, that's brilliant. And Gina says, we really appreciate your consideration of Chef AJ followers. Yeah, we're all in this together. And yeah, and that's how I'm different than some other people, is that I want us, we can all sit down at the table and eat delicious food. It doesn't seem like it should be such a revelation to me, but there are other people out there who are like, if you don't do this or you don't do that, then I'm not going to give you recipes. And I think it's silly. Oh, and someone else used to make casseroles all the time before they went plant-based. Yeah, we can casserole it up in January. And Apple also appreciates the no oil, salt, or sugar options. And that's great. Oh, and the gravy base was Apple's idea. Sorry, Apple. I just read the other comment. So I love, that you guys talk to each other. So I love that. It makes me so happy and feel like we're building such a wonderful community. But sometimes I get a little lost when you crosstalk, because then I'll be like, am I supposed to say that? So I apologize. I lost that thread. And Amber says, I'm with you as well. With Chef AJ, compliant options. Thanks for being inclusive. Yeah, because, I feel passionate about it, actually. And, it's easy. Oh, you guys are so sweet. And Apple says, I reckon we're all just living off Kathy's kitchen witchery wisdom. Oh, that might have to be a graphic. Maybe I need to change some blog names. You guys are giving me all kinds of inspiration. Okay. So, for anyone who's just coming in now, let me recap this recipe. And then I'll show you a little more about the bundle, and I'm going to show you, I think I showed you what was in my class. I'll show you 2 other things. I'm going to kind of pop in. The sale is only till January 8th. So you either have to get it when it's gone, it's gone. There's nothing I can do. If I ask Amy, she's going to say no. It's just, it goes away. Now you could buy it January, the last day. You can buy it and you'll have that sheet and you can go and get your stuff, I think, till June. You've got 6 months to download everything. And everything you either download to your computer, I think, except for my class. And with my class, you go through and sign up for it on Podia, and you can just access it through Podia for as long as I have Podia. And I had Teachable for a long time and moved all my Teachable stuff over to Podia. So I'm assuming if I move somewhere else, it would all move over too. I roasted the onions for about, in the smaller air fryer, I did it for about 25 minutes and then an additional 20. When I did it the way I called for in the skin and everything and not covered. When I covered it and took the skin off, so I covered the darker onion was cooked in here with the lid on and this here. And that one I had to cook. The Breville is notorious for taking longer because it's a bigger space to heat up. So smaller, larger. So I think I cooked it almost an hour. It was also a little bit of a larger onion. So about there. You want it, if you're just coming on now, you might want to go back and rewatch because I showed, how the fork goes into the onion, how the onion's squished, so you'd have some visual clues about when things were going to be done. So that should help. And then you just want to, again, either way, it's best to let it cool, then cut it in at least quarters before you put it in your blender. Know that if it's a smaller onion, like I had a small one that made this sauce, it almost didn't blend in this small blender. So if you have a bigger Vitamix and you want to do this, you easily could do 6 onions, let them cool, puree it all up. And you could honestly freeze this in ice cube trays and then just plop a few in, so you could put some onion cream in your spaghetti sauce. Like I said, and make a creamy sauce. The other day, for the gigantuan Corona, it's not Corona, it's Coronado beans? I can't remember. They're like giant lima beans. So I got you there, right? And I made a sauce with a can of pureed tomatoes. I actually sauteed probably 2 cups of onions with some garlic, and then I took all that and pureed it together, and it just looks like a creamy sauce. It made a pink sauce. It's delicious. And you don't go, ooh, there's onion. Well, Cheryl doesn't go, ooh, there's onions in it. She was like, oh, this sauce is really nice and creamy. Those are things I like to hear. So Leslie, I hope that helps you. So if not, let me know. And like I said, right now the recipe isn't up anywhere. But it's so simple, and I just gave you 2 recipes really in here that you can follow pretty easily. Okay, so we're going to come back over here, and I am, is that showing the way I want to? Yeah, there we go. Okay, not exactly the way I want, but I wanted to just go through really quick. Seriously? That seems so big. Come smaller. There we go. Okay, so I wanted to show you just 2 things. And so we're going to look at the smoothie book, and we're also going to look at Mary Ellen's Vegan Healthy Habits Planner, because actually we're in some groups together. So I have seen her working on this for a while. And actually, you don't need to see any of that stuff. There we go. We'll get this together. Okay, and Apple got a bundle. So a couple people have already gotten bundles. So again, this bundle is $14.99. I'll show you the other sheet in a while. The Healthy Habits Planner is really kind of cool. And so there's like all your grocery staples, so you could use this as a weekly shopping list, meal planning tips, and then actually like where you can plan your meals. It's just kind of like a nice little printable thing, and she's got weekly planners too. So it's super cool. And like, look at this. For those of you that want to be fancy smancy dancy, you can go breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack. You know I'm never going to be that organized. And, you know, like there's like 3 days of the year that I go, oh, one day, this is how that's going to be. But I always love these little printable things. And see, look, and then even has a daily planner, and I really like this. Let me see if I can get this to go down a little bit more. So you can kind of use these as just like for your whole life. So you can have the schedule printed out. You've got your little reminder to be grateful for something, what your top 3 things are to do, if you're doing movement, stress reduction, or self-care. Well, okay, stress reduction, she has different than self-care. I don't know if I can do 2, but I'll try. How many hours of sleep and how much water. And also, because Mary Ellen's so good, she actually is a health coach, so she does some neat stuff. But with breakfast, how hungry were you? What was your mood? How did you feel after your mood? So those of you that are trying to change your diets up a little bit, this is really cool to kind of just check in. And you would have, you know, how many veggie servings did you have? How many fruit? What were your wins? Did you get all your colors in? I just love this little thing so much. And so you could print out just one page, or you can print out the whole thing multiple times. You will download this as a PDF. And so you could always just print out your shopping list, and it could help you remember, especially if you're new transitioning from a standard American diet to vegan, or vegan to plant-based, because those both have some hurdles, some things you're leaving off. And so I think it's really cool, and I love it. So this is Becky Stripey's Green Smoothies ebook. Move this out of my way. And I just we'll look through the other books as well. But like, she's got a shopping list, and there's week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So this is like, let's have some green smoothies, y'all. You know, week 5, week 6. And I love that. So she's got some info, but let's take a look at week 1. And so I love this. This week you're stocking up on staple ingredients, so it's going to be a bit pricier than most of the others. So she's giving you some good tips and hints about things. And some of the things are going to last the whole time. So, and here's your shopping list. Hello, thank you for making my life easy. Ooh, chocolate shake. Plus, is that not the grooviest glass? I love that. And you know, freezing the bananas. And those of you who are banana haters, I know some of you exist. You could also lightly steam, like very lightly steam cauliflower or something like that, and use that. And that, if it's frozen, then that can help kind of mimic some of the same stuff. As far as, what does the same stuff mean, Kathy? That's a great question. What that means is that it's the frozen banana, it's the thickness as well as it being frozen that pulls all those ingredients together, which means you don't have to use something like xanthan gum or pectin or something that we use in our ice creamless smoothies. But you can try some other, there are some banana substitutes. So if we have banana haters, you hit me up this week and we'll talk about it. I think we might have to make a smoothie from here. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. But these are a lot of smoothies. So I'm going to just kind of, there's week 2. And she doesn't have a picture necessarily for every smoothie, but honestly, it's smoothies. I don't really need a picture for all. Apple's a banana hater, and freeze mashed white sweet potatoes in ice cube trays. That's brilliant too. And you don't have to worry about overcooking those white sweet potatoes. honestly, you could almost sneak some of this white onion cream in there, which seems kind of mean. Um, and okay, Joanne uses frozen steamed vegetables all the time when she makes smoothies. It's just another way to kind of sneak in a little more oomph. And Dolores is allergic to bananas and uses steamed white sweet potato frozen in chunks as well. So I guess I'm late to the party on that one. You guys are the cool kids. Thanks for hanging out with me. Um, I love that idea though. I actually think I got some white sweet potatoes. What would be super cool was to get those purple sweet potatoes because that would make the color beautiful. Um, but there's a different this is 40 smoothies and a shopping list each week, which I think is pretty awesome. So let me come back in here and come over here. So hi, Deborah. Oh, and I love all the ideas you guys are talking about. So yeah, sweet potatoes. And I will say I have kind of put in older frozen cauliflower that was in the freezer and that worked out okay. It just, usually they blanch it before they put it into the freezer, so you can try a brand and see if it works for you. Some of them are too tough really to do that with. And when I'm saying, so with cauliflower, if you had fresh cauliflower, I would just kind of blanch it. I would cook it just until it was just soft enough that it's going to blend, and let that be done. Ooh, Joanne, purple sweet potatoes with blueberries, and oat milk, and maybe some red kale. That sounds, I'm going to have to go shopping now. I'm going to have to look at week 1 list and get myself some smoothie stuff. Oh, and Heather says, couldn't resist the bundle as it looks great and easy for the UK. Yeah, and a lot of the measurements won't be in UK measurements, but again, I think it works out. I think I can't speak for everybody's recipes, but when I'm making them, I'm probably going to adjust them to what I have on hand anyhow. But if you run across a recipe that's difficult for you to translate, just let me know. And for those of you who aren't already there, who do Facebook, I do have a free private Facebook group called Vegan Recipes Cooking with Kathy Hester. That's a great place to ask questions like that too. Someone said they were looking at the bundle yesterday, but they were waiting for my link. That's so sweet. I don't think we were supposed to announce it until today. And Cheryl's like, she said she's in for smoothies, so maybe I'll talk to Becky. Maybe we'll have Becky on. I've been wanting to do an interview. So maybe I'll see if Becky will let me interview her. Maybe she will make us a smoothie. I'll see what. I'm going to fit so much into this week that I'm going to just go crazy. But that's okay, because I'm going to do it anyhow. So, and Heather was saying banana subs would be good. So we could try some things like that. Red kale, blueberries, purple sweet potato sounds amazing, says Apple and Joanne and me. I'm like, I kind of want that right now, even with this beautiful cheesy sauce sitting in front of me. And what I am tempted to do, honestly, because I don't know what I'm making for dinner yet, is just looking at this beautiful deep orange color, is to add some ancho chili powder, some of the things that I do for like the nacho cheese sauce, because I think this would make a really good, the color that it is right now, it'd be so nacho cheese sauce. But with the onion, basically we're taking something, cooking it down to where it doesn't have a strong flavor. What's surprising about onion is raw onion is like flavor-wise up here, cooked onion dulls it, right, or mellows it, to when we cook it down so caramelized, right, like for a French onion soup or something like that, to then doing this, it's pretty much the same thing, but without stirring the onions 80 bazillion times. This is like put it in the air fryer or your oven and go, I'm going to read a book and have some coffee or tea or take a walk. You know, you can just kind of go and enjoy yourself and then come back, let this cool, and put this together. So we're just looking for a bulk, and that's why I do a lot of cauliflower sauces. With cauliflower sauces, you can't cook it as long as the onion. You have to just cook it just till it's just tender enough it will puree well in the Vitamix. And that's on the Instant Pot is usually 5 to 10 minutes. And then releasing the pressure manually. Also, infinite love and gratitude. Hey, love your name. Thank you for that. So this is a fun new base recipe to play with, and Happy New Year's, everybody. Well, it's just been such a pleasure to hang out with you guys today, and hopefully, I know sometimes I feel weird about sharing the bundles and stuff with you, but then I know it's really good stuff, and I know a lot of the people who are making the recipes, and I know they're good, so I want to make sure you have the opportunity. And we'll talk about it more this week. I'll show you more of it, really, just like I've done before. And I just do that so you can look and see if it's for you, if it's not for you. And probably, if all goes as planned, which it doesn't always, I will try and make a recipe too, like I did today, or we'll just talk about an ingredient or something. So that way, even if you're not like, if you're like, I already decided I didn't want the bundle, you'll still have some value out of what's going on. Linda said she might have just known she was in the know. And I, I appreciate that. And Diana says, thanks so much for sharing. And Gina says, can I bake the onion in a 4-quart enamel casserole dish? Yeah, I don't see why you couldn't. You just might want to put a couple in. So this is, the reason I use this guy, let's see if I can do this without making a mess everywhere. Because this guy is, I don't know if it tells me. No, I don't think it tells me. This guy fits an onion and it fits into my air fryer. Whereas my 4-quart would easily fit in the Breville, but it wouldn't easily fit into my closed air fryer. So again, we're taking this kind of recipe from the air fryer up and beyond, right? So yeah, you could probably put 2 or 3 onions in here. And if you don't mind the darker sauce, you could do what I did and take the outside skins off, have some parchment in there real good, and cover it with a lid, and it may take up to an hour. If you put more things in, it could take even an hour and a half. But I would check every 20 minutes, even from the first 20 minutes. Check on it 20 minutes. How are these onions behaving, right? And go from there. If you're not, if you're leaving the skins on, I wouldn't cover it. I just covered it so it wouldn't get the top part burnt. I don't care if the skin's burned because I'm going to peel those off or get a little bit crispy. And hopefully that helps. Oh, Diane just got here and you guessed you missed it, but there will be a replay as soon as we're done. So we made onion cream, and we made this beautiful cheesy sauce that you could put on, make a mac and cheese, or put on potatoes, or Mexican into queso. We could do all the things with it. And so Gina's saying, Jessie says it sounds like AJ's slow-cooked caramelized onion recipe. It is very similar to that. I also, from years ago, I think I did it for vegan slow cooking for 2, is that I chop up onions and put them in the slow cooker and leave them all day long, and they will get caramelized. So this is kind of, it's similar. It's less work than cutting anything up. I don't know if Chef AJ is cutting anything up or not. Yeah, you can totally do this in the slow cooker too. There wouldn't be any problems with it. Again, I would put parchment paper in before I did it. I would not want to put water in it, because if I get, like, all that yummy brown juice from the onion that we had in the white pot, I put in here as smoky goodness. And that's also why this is a different color. So that's why I would not put extra water in, because you don't want to dilute the flavors that we're getting from here. Okay, yay! And of course, Diane, we are not abandoning you in any way, shape, or form. Um, yeah, and Jesse says it's definitely less work to do the onion whole, and you get the real sweetness from the onion with baking in time, and it's hands off. And I'm sure you could probably do the same thing in the Instant Pot. I do like the caramelization and some of the darker little bits that flavor it from coming from this drier baking method, be it air fryer or baking. But that doesn't mean you have to do it that way. Slow cooking, Instant Pot, you could put Dutch oven in your oven, in the oven, like it implies. We could cook this on top of the oven, and if we did it at that point, I would cut it up and just caramelize the onions to do it that way. Oh, that's right. Again, yeah, Chef AJ uses a lot of pre-cut onions because she's got more sense than I do, and she doesn't feel the need to work as hard as I feel like I need to work to do something. So awesome. Ooh, savory caramel sauce. It is kind of like that. In fact, I bet you anything, if I put some dates with that, it would be interesting as just a sweet caramel sauce too. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm saying to me, not to you, Joanne. Okay, guys, well, this has gone on for, I've taken enough time out of your day, but I appreciate you guys so very much. I hope you enjoy the onion cream, and I really want to hear about the different things you're using it for coming up. And I'll give you some notice. I'm going to pop in several times this week. That is as far as I can commit today. Okay? Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I hope next week is just magical. Yes, magical for you, magical for me, and that we just kind of start cozying into 2021 like we do our favorite blankies. All right, bye.